Hey everybody, today I am working from a sketch, so I'm making this sketch into a scrapbook page. There's loads of lovely pennants and they've all been layered up. The sketch is by Laura and it was for the Lottie Loves Paper cybercrop that took place the other month. I've pulled out some papers that I think I'd like to use. I've got this Coordinations cardstock, which I've had forever, but I really want to use it. I want to get it on a page. It's a use it or lose it kind of thing. I'm doing a lot of that lately. I also have my square photo, which I plan on cutting into four. And the whole layout really actually revolves around the first time I flew long distance on my own. So there is a lot of journaling on this page that you guys won't see because I'm not quite ready to share that story with everybody. But it is there and that's where a lot of it comes from. First thing I'm going to do is, like I said, pull out some papers. Now, it's a really good way of using up scraps or lengths of card. It just makes sense if that's what you're doing with a piece of cardstock. The photo was 4x4, so I've cut it down so it's 2x2, and I've got my cardstock ready to go. Now to do the pennants, it's really simple. You fold the bottom of your pennant, don't press it, just hold it lightly, and then you cut diagonally at the end. And that's all I do to create my pennants. Each of these are slightly different widths and I'm going to play around with layering them. Initially I thought I was going to go landscape. I did change my mind and change it to a portrait orientation, but that's for later on. So I just play around cutting out pennants and messing around with colours and papers to see what I like, see what works, see what I'm not feeling good about. It's that kind of thing. It's not, none of my scrapbooking's particularly technical. It's just messing around with paper until I'm happy with the result. So we'll get some of these pennants stacked up and we'll keep playing around with them until I finally reach a point where I'm pleased. And then I've got the challenge of putting the photos on, which then makes me change my mind yet again. I did turn over the page to use the A side of the paper and decided that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to stick with the B side. So back we go to playing around with all those pennants again. All I do is move things around until I hit a point where, yes, that works. I go with my gut instinct and then I'll glue it down. I don't want it to be difficult. I don't feel my pages need to be difficult. There is such thing as overthinking and I don't like doing that, so I avoid it. Pretty simple. But when I'm happy, I get them stuck down, even if it's just lifting up and repositioning a little bit and a bit of jiggery pokery here and there. So I've got this cluster of pennants. Now I need to get my photos on. I haven't quite yet cut the tops off. Like the top, you can see it sticking out from the 12x12 bit of paper. So I haven't cut the excess, that's the weird one. I haven't cut the excess off just yet, but I will. I'm going to mat these photos onto some white paper. It's a foiled paper and it just helps them stand forward a bit rather than blending into the background. It gives them a bit more depth. I've got that lovely strip of yellow right in the middle and that's where the title's going to go, and we'll see what happens. And because I also have left over from creating those pennants, I've got the triangles, like the offcuts from it. I'm going to use those down the bottom of the page as an extra bit of embellishment, just to help draw the eye up the page. So the pennants draw it down, that draws it up, so the page flows really nicely regardless of what I do. I've also used the offcut in here as well, just as an extra strip, an extra layer. I've cut that into a pennant too. Basically, because I can, it uses it up and it stops me chucking it in the bin because it's, why not? So I've got two little pennants out of that and I've put the photo around and now I'm going to actually get rid of the excess paper at the top there. So it's looking good so far. Now I just need to make sure everything's stuck down and adhered properly before I move on to doing some embellishment. There's a lot going on with the paper, so it doesn't need loads of embellishment, but it does need a bit of thought for me. I do need to sort of think these things through a bit further than I might normally, because firstly of where I'm putting the papers, and secondly just what I'm doing with them. I decided that I didn't like the offcuts down the bottom. It wasn't helping with the flow, so I just flipped them around and stuck them at the top. And sticking them at the top just helps condense that flow into a downward flow of the page, rather than it sort of going up and down and up and down and up and down. Next thing I'm going to do is add my alphabets. So I have pulled out a pile of stickers that I think may, or may not, work really, really well with this layout. The title of it's going to be Flying Solo, and, well, basically because that's what I was doing. But the colour I've got there is very in your face. There's a lot going on, and I need to just pull that back because otherwise the letter stickers are just going to fade into the background. They're going to be completely overwhelmed by the background papers that I've chosen. So just a little square of tissue paper in the back just helps to move that in and gives me not a fully transparent base but not an opaque base. Just, it's that extra layer that tones down the brightness of the papers below it but doesn't obscure them. So I've got this flying, which is in a font that is a map, which I love, and I really want to go pink because there's a lot of pink going on in this. I tried a couple of different types out, but I'm loving the glitter. So the solo is now written in a glittery font because, well, glitter. I'll play around with some embellishment stickers and some other bits, but the layout is largely finished at this point. There's not a huge amount I want to do with it other than my journaling, which, as I said before, you guys won't see. So as I'm going through my stickers, I'm looking for phrases, items, ideas that may work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If I like it, it gets stuck down. If I don't like it or I change my mind, it gets peeled up and used on something else. I also have these washi strips that I've had for quite a while now. I want to start using those up a bit more. So I've pulled out the scalloped gold. That's going to go on here. I'm just going to edge one of the banners with it. I'm also going to create a banner with one of them, so because the washi is transparent you can see the colours through it. Again, like the tissue paper, just a little bit extra something. That's it. That's all it needs to be. So we're going to add some of the gold as well because who doesn't like a bit of gold? Tuck that under. It's just a bit of interest really. That's all it is. Bit of interest, something different on the page. Don't need it to be anything else. And that's all I did. I didn't add any stickers to it by the end of it. The embellishment really is just the paper and the washi tape. And, you know, that's how I pull a sketch into a scrapbook page. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment, let me know. Like it, share it with your friends, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.